welcome to Migrant Tribe, episode 6, stories from our journey down under. Yours truly, Joey, and we got Joseph, Jasmine,
Hello.
John, and
Hi.
Irwin.
Oh,
Okay, so today our episode is about achieving work-life balance. Is it still attainable? Living down under. Okay. And let's start off with uh, Joseph.
yep. Thanks, Joey. Thank you. Um, okay, so is work-life balance still attainable? So I'd like to start off. For most part of my work life here in Australia, I've been in real estate sales, which is pretty much not a regular 9 to 5 job. Sometimes we'd have to work late hours in the evening, and our normal days are Mondays to Saturdays, and Saturdays being the busiest day because that's where we have open for inspections, auctions, and that's where we meet a lot of our buyers and sometimes some of our vendors. So pretty much that leaves only Sunday. That's pretty much only the day that I spend with my family the whole day. So so I did that for 5 years, and what I learned in those 5 years was that even if you start getting better at your job, assuming you start getting a bit of success, you still find yourself that you still need to put in those longer. As a matter of fact, sometimes you even have to spend more hours just to sustain whatever success that you've had. Partly because it's a very competitive industry. Uh, you always have to go against other agents, so you can't slack off. So that's what I learned in those 5 years doing that type of job. So
Mhm.
now eventually I moved on to another company, also a real estate company, but this time I took on a different role. Now with this role, I've only had to work 4 days a week. Okay, so because I was only working 4 days a week, so that kind of gave me time. Albeit it was also less pay that I'll be getting, but because of I was only working 4 days a week, that gave me more time to do other stuff. So I was able to learn and get into two other very different industries, and slowly started earning something from those other industries. And at the same time, I was still able to keep my Saturdays and Sundays for the family. So that was how it worked for me. It worked out well for me until COVID came.
Mhm.
So, well, we won't go into that. That'll be for future topics. But yeah, so so that's how things turned out for me. So I guess what I can say is probably like because we're all in different situations, it's really hard to say outright that oh yeah yes we can do work life. No, we can't. But probably because like some of us we're single, some of us were married with kids, or single with kids, or even the ages of the kids. All of those factors are very important if we want to achieve certain balance in our life. But for me, I think the one important thing for you would be you just have to be honest with yourself. You know what you really want. What's your priority? If at a certain period of time you think if you think you need to work more, that's okay. Just be honest. Just say no. There's nothing wrong with being saying I prefer to work more because I want to earn more. There's nothing wrong with saying something like that. And of course, like we all know, it always comes with certain cost or consequences, and we just be ready if ever those consequences do occur. And and you know what? And you can always change. Okay, you can always shift. You can always, if you think you realize later on that this is I should change course or do something else, or spend more time at home than always just working. So um, yeah, I guess that's what I can share.
Would you
Thanks.
say, um,
Nice.
would you have like 50-50% or 60-40?
At
Inter
certain points, it was something more. At certain points, I guess earlier in my career, it seemed like it was more like a 70-30.
70 on work or 70 on life?
Yeah, 70% in work.
Mm.
Now I
Okay.
can say it's kind of tapered down to more like a 50-50.
Wow, that's great. Okay, that's great. Well, let's
Sure.
well, thank you. I mean, that's a good insight from you, Joseph. I
Yep.
mean, let's go with Pin, Jasmine. Let's see. We know that you're a very busy woman, businesswoman, and you got so many businesses running under your plate.
uh,
So
yeah,
let's hear
true.
out what is the version of work-life balance, if there is, from you.
Um, yeah, I think it's still possible. I guess I'll start with how you want to define it, because I want to define life maybe. Because work, we all know what work is. Me, work is my business. Before it was like working in a corporate, so maybe like Joseph, no. So, but now it's different because it's businesses. So I guess life, as I define work life balance, I define it as, being able to do having the having time for yourself, for things that you want to do. So I guess that's life, other than your core like family and self love. So but being able to do, having the luxury of time, being able to do what you really love doing. I guess that's work life balance, and that's partially part of the reason why I switched transition to business at the time, the very very first venture. So I'll be able to have that time to um um, have more personal time, doing all the stuff, the errands, the kids errands, the drop offs and pick up, and then activities and sports, so that the lot. And that was the growing years. So that's the, I guess that's the work life balance. It's still, it's being passionate about it, but then putting time to grow your business. And then as you grow, as what Joseph said, then you want to do more. And that as I think as you grow, you want to be able to define how much time you really want to put in. And that's my definition of success: having being able to do what you want to do, and living a life that, or doing something that you don't need a holiday from. Enjoying what you're doing gets you going. So I guess you and me personally, I try to manage the time where I give time now. Before it's different. You give time for self love, for yourself, for your life projects. So there's an allocated time for that, so
How much
that
time?
strikes your.
Sorry. So how much time you put in for yourself, or you give for yourself? Let's say, is it a day that you don't? I mean, you really just contemplate, or I mean, do you do meditation as well? What do you do?
Yeah, yeah, morning meditation, and then I allocate this one at least an hour for for life projects, and that includes whether this blog, this is something
Yeah.
outside my revenue generating activities. If I have other organization, my charity, or my say I want to write, so I just allocate that block that I
Hmm.
allocated this hour, say 8 to 9, 9 to 10, for my life projects, or even kids college thing, research, whatever, research on what's next holiday trip, because I think that's important. So yeah, and the meditation, yes, every morning. I guess that's also part of it. So it's not just spending time with your core family and friends, but also for yourself, I guess. And that's life, and that's what keeps you going. I mean, we all have different, as Joseph said, we all have different circumstances and situations. So that uniqueness, but at the end of the day, it's still how you allocate time for your life as you define it.
Okay. Well, that's a very interesting story. And
Okay.
actually, this is
Okay.
ongoing, keeps ongoing. Um few people actually know a bit of background of you. I mean, we just try to get to a little bit of juicy stuff here. You work, you actually have three kids, right? or they're teenagers now. But when you started the year, they're teenagers, and so far you're let's say single mom, right?
Mm-hmm.
And putting that on your shoulder is way. I mean, I think it's a good way to share to everyone that you can still do work like balance, shall we call it, if there is still such thing, because you've proven it. Is that right?
Yes. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Okay.
And over the years, we get better, I guess. I mean, it's not still at its best, but we get better each time. And we all grow. But
Wow.
yes, I highly encourage find that definition of yours of work-life balance.
Okay. Okay. Well, that's to it. Do you have any questions for Pin? Ice? Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, you do. Okay, Joseph.
No, no, that's okay. I was just
Okay. Okay.
okay.
Now
Okay.
let's let's hear someone from the author, John Lion. He has been, I mean, working on some projects lately, and on the side, he well, obviously he's still working for different companies. Now let's hear his version of work-life balance.
Yeah. As what we've said, life is a laboratory, so it's always a trial and error thing.
I like that.
You might have a um, defined problem. You might have the perceived process, and you might have the achieved outcome. But at the end of the day, it is still life. So you have to traverse it, you have to live it, and you have to deal with it. My background as well is basically I am an entrepreneur, and being an entrepreneur is always taking risks, and I've been playing with life, so to speak, uh, in order to define the success that I wanted. But I also realized that being in a travel or in a journey, you always travel with somebody or people around you or people you love or people who believe in you, and that entails as well considerations. So after how many years of being in the entrepreneurial field, I decided to lay low or uh, take a back step. I've even told my sister that I need to take two steps backward in order to have a one step forward and then another step until I can go
And
on and
that's
go back with the thing that I want to do.
and
So
that's a bigger leap,
yeah,
right?
Wait, yep.
yeah. So
Don't don't
you,
trip.
you
Yes.
yeah you but you should learn when to stop, not to quit. Learn when to stop, when to pause, and when to backtrack, because it's just like leaping up. When you
Mm.
when you backtrack, meaning to say you can move forward
Okay.
higher or maybe longer, as what the track and field or the jumper has been doing. So
Yeah.
yeah, that's what life is all about. So at the end of the day, you still want to find happiness. You still want to define your purpose. You still want to give what you can do and give what you can share with other people. So after I think 6 years in the entrepreneurial field, I decided to go back to uh, the employment side. I work for somebody, but at the same time, I nurture deep inside me of things that I can do in the future. So in a way, when we go back to the idea of work-life balance, it's not really 50-50, it's not really 60-40, but it is how you blend. That's why earlier I put the question in our group, uh, is it really work-life balance that we are going to achieve, or is it work-life blending that we would like to do in our life? Because
Oh,
Mm.
yeah, sometimes we work very very hard, but the result that we want is not there. So you need to be reflective, you need to be contemplative, and you need to find out what's wrong, or what is not working, or why is it not working, and then you have to redefine your actions or your moves, because your goal is still there, but maybe come along the way you did something that is not helpful, or you did something that will not help you achieve your goal faster. So currently I'm still here at home. I'm My mind is active, and sort of I'm sharpening it. After COVID, maybe something good or better is going to happen. But in the meantime, I keep myself busy with the things that is not really on the money side yet, and I'm happy. And as what I've posted on my Facebook earlier, I think this was yesterday. Keep living, and happiness will find you. This is for everybody. Just believe, and things are going to happen.
Thank you for those
True.
wonderful words to ponder uh,
Yeah.
to our author, John Lion. Now, probably a few words from Irwin. By the way, for everyone's knowledge, Irwin's actually now resided in the Philippines. He used to be in Australia, and for him to pursue the journey of entrepreneurial, or shall I say, being a businessman, he also went back to to our home country, but he still love actually Australia. So let's hear some insights from him.
Thank you, Joey. Yeah, so yeah, I'm quite, I'm actually on more on the listening side now. I learned a lot from the
Mhm.
three speakers. So, but if I can just comment, like for me, like balance is a pursuit. Like you always find that everyone wants it, but it's a struggle. So every day we try to juggle everything. For me, like you win some, you lose some. There's a day you win, there's a day you lose. You think you lose, But I think if you can put that in a monthly basis, observe it from a monthly basis, I think it depends where you are at right now in your life. For me, I'm in the mid 40s, so I was thinking like in the next 15 years I'll be 60 years old, right? So whatever you want to achieve during that 15 years, whether it's going to be financial, it's going to be religion or relationship with your friends or relatives or family. So it depends on what's your priorities, like what the three speakers says. Depends on your priority. So it's really subjective for me. Like when you say if you focus on financial, like 80% you want to focus on that, 10% for the family, and then 10% for religion, and for yourself it's still balanced, right? So it depends. It depends what's your definition on the balance. For me, I think it's possible. I think it's possible. It's easy, but it's not. It's what do you call that? It's easy, but it's not simple, or it's simple, but it's easy. Whatever you call it,
Right.
you have to work out it. You have to work it out. You have to work it out. So it's still possible, but you have to work it out. That's what I can say. So we learn every day. So it's a journey. For me, it's a journey. So it's still possible. And the question is, when you say question is, when you ask, is it possible? I think it's possible. You can still have that sort of balance, but it's a pursuit. It's a pursuit.
Personal
Mm.
choice.
Yep.
Okay.
Yep.
Anyone else who wants to add to that?
Good. Mm.
So Joey, can you close it?
Yeah. Well, to sum it up,
Your
actually,
thought, yeah, please.
there are so many good ideas that actually or your experience itself are actually really enlightening. Um Even just to pick up some points on Joseph, right? When he actually sells a car, his success is doesn't end there. He has to sell another car and another car and another car, right? So,
So just this is the
Uh,
sorry, to interrupt, real estate
I
houses.
sell houses.
oh,
Houses.
sorry,
Houses,
my apologies.
cars. Houses,
It was
cars,
actually Irwin
cars.
before that actually was selling
Yeah,
Yeah.
cars,
Irwin,
and
yeah,
then
that's it.
Joseph was actually on real estate. Sorry, mixed that up. But in Pin, she got from started from her own atelier business. She went to marketing. She ventured out on different businesses now, and she has different client base as well globally. So putting it as a perspective together with the author, our author, John Lyon, work-life balance is it's more of really your choice. Doesn't have to have that Libra, call it, that you always weigh things, right? It's a matter where you where you want to put your effort in, and what equates to a success that you want to achieve. So I think to close it off, work-life balance is some sort of uh, it's already somehow being debunked by everyone out there, mostly by people that is actually going into entrepreneurial journey. And like John had mentioned, blend. Sometimes it's about blending. It's not just about go with a strict process that you always gonna do every day. It's about actually designing your life, what makes it work, and if you're able to experience it in a way that, if you call it balance or blend, as long as you get the most out of it, I think that's the key. uh, and I mean, for our listeners, we appreciate your time, and thank you so much for watching us. Hope to see you again next week on an episode. Watch out for that. And again, for a few last words for you guys before we end
Uh,
this.
like and subscribe to our channel.
There you go.
That's right.
And see you next
Subscribe.
time.
Thank you.
Thank
Thank
you.
you.
Bye.
See you.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye. Dito tayo, lipat sa kabila.